Hello and welcome once more to Red Gaming Tech. My name is Amata. Today is the 7th of January and I have some rather owie news regarding the console market in Japan, as 2014 saw the home console and handheld game sales in the region reach their lowest point for 24 years. Japanese gamers apparently bought fewer consoles and physical console games last year than in any year since 1990, which, as you may remember, is the year the SNES arrived in the country. Now, sales figures from Famitsu, which were hopefully translated by NeoGAF, well, they don't paint a very pretty picture, and basically, despite the launch of both the Xbox One and PS4, there was quite a big decline. Now, 2014's total physical game sales for all home consoles and handhelds generated 369 billion yen, which is about £2 billion. And back in 2007, that number was nearly double at 688 billion yen, which is about £3.8 billion. Now, the top 10 selling games in Japan last year were all for Nintendo platforms, 8 of which are for the 3DS, which is of course a very strong telling of Japan's preference for handhelds. Now, the level 5 role player Yokai Watch 2 sold the highest at just over 3 million, while Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire unsurprisingly notched up an impressive 2.4 million copies. Also charting highly were Monster Hunter 4, Super Smash Bros. 3DS and Dragon Quest Monsters 2, as well as Mario Kart 8 and Super Smash for the Wii U. Now, the 3DS was unsurprisingly the top-selling console in Japan last year. It shifted 3.1 million units, making a 17.8 million lifetime total in the country. Now, what's really kind of strange and interesting is that the second best-selling console was actually the PlayStation Vita, and Sony shifted 1.1 million units out of the 3.4 million for a Japanese lifetime total. Now, as I have alluded to for most of this video, home console results, well, they're a lot less rosy. PS4 launched and sold 925k, and the Wii U sold 604k. The Xbox One launched and sold 45.9k. Now, I'm going to show in the video about now a little bit of a graph from Famitsu that basically lays out the Japanese sales versus data from the last 27 years from, of course, 2014. So, yes, as you can see, it's pretty unpretty, to say the least. Well, and the thing is, mobile gaming is pretty much where it's at in Japan, and we have some comments, should I say, from Monkey Paw's John Grainer, who said, quote, "I think the Japanese market hasn't declined, it's just moved. We've shifted from a console-dominated market to a mobile-dominated market. That's not necessarily a bad thing. There are some great games out there, but it might not be globally oriented games. Your RPGs of old that everybody loved, your fighters and things like that, doesn't necessarily translate to mobile." Now, the Japanese games market says it all, as it now is dominated by huge developers such as Gree and Dina, who make vast amounts of money via mobile games, which are of course intended for the Japanese audience. And a lot of people are saying it's because, well, the people who have grown up playing video games, well, they may not necessarily have that much time anymore because they may have, wife and husband, family, etc. They've got their jobs, so they're mostly playing games when they're on the move, and when they get home, they might not necessarily have the time to sit down and play games like they used to. So it kind of makes sense that it's very mobile based, but it's very different to over here, as of course the PS Vita is kind of struggling. The 3DS is of course doing well, but not as well as, say, the PS4, the Xbox One. So it's very interesting to see what it's like in such a different culture, and how the console market is going pretty strong over here, but of course is kind of hobbling along on two broken legs over there. So, I will of course link the source in the description below this video, and that is from NeoGAF, of course, not from Famitsu. I'm not going to assume that you can read Japanese, because most of you probably can't. But do let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I'll see you next time.